Good day to you one and all. It's Johnny from Sydney Retro MTB, and welcome to another Sydney Retro MTB history lesson. I choose certain videos where I've had a pretty good collection and connection with a certain brand or a certain bike, and today's video is about the GT Zaskar. So roughly in about 1993, I saw this crazy guy jumping around on a bike, and he was always on a Zaskar, and from then I just had a love for the brand, and this was Mr. Hans Ray. Back in the day I used to have an Apollo Atomic which had a triple triangle which was copied off the GT design, so I couldn't afford a GT at the time, and I had to settle for an Apollo Atomic. But the Zaskars were so prolific in all the magazines, it was crazy. They were everywhere. And this was a video I pulled off Hans's Instagram page where he's pulled out a 1993 or 94 Zaskar with spin wheels, and even at his age he can still do trials way better than me. The reason for the Zaskar for me to go for a Zaskar back in the day was actually the robustness, because you could do stuff like this on it, and I had 2 or 3 Zaskars in my time and I never ever broke one. And in the next clips you'll see again, just like the love of Zaskar within my mountain biking team. I used to ride for KG Bikes, and my friend Robin, who's pictured here as a young whippersnapper, he was on his Zaskar. He used to race on his Zaskar to do the Northwest mountain bike series and the North Wales series, and ultimate style on the Zaskar. He was such a good rider, and he still is a very fast lad. So this is just around my hometown in Glossop in the UK, and just as kids we used to make up our own jumps and things like that. So Robin got a Zaskar before me, and I kind of always drooled over it. At this time I was on Konas, and then my friend Sam, he also got a Zaskar, and as you can see he's racing at Namwa Quarry, and he's got the old Mazzocchi BH forks on there. And then because everyone had one, I actually sold all my Konas, and then I bought a second-hand GT Zaskar off my friend Phil. It did have a bit of a ding in the down tube because he wrapped it around a tree, but structurally it was fine. And this was kind of my cross-country do-it-all kind of downhill local rig, and as you can see there, it's parked up next to my Sintesi Bazooka. Another big influence in 1997 and 98 was Steve Pete, who at the time was riding for GT, and he had this super sick black GT Zaskar. He was at the Melbournes in it doing slalom, downhill races, whatever. And then the amazing video that is Sprung 2 came out, and this is the section with him and Pagey doing all the jumps, doing the dirt jumps. And again, Steve was on a GT Zaskar, so yeah, super pimp to see, this bike used for cross country trials and jumps, and hopefully he didn't break it, but this is ultimate steez on an ultimate hardtail. was very fortunate to do a photo shoot with the late great Jez Avery for MBUK, and at the time my GT LTS was in for a service and I only had my Zaskar available, so I put a set of Mazzocchi Bombers Z1s on there, and we went up to the local moors and we did a bit of a downhill shoot. So this is me on my GT Zaskar, and fully Fox clothing and scary fast pants and the Met Nitro helmet with Oakley goggles. This is another photo taken by Seb Rogers for the MBUK photo shoot, and this is me doing a jump up what we would call a slag heap in the UK. It is a massive mound of dirt, kind of waste dirt, and this was a pretty big step up. Mostly in today's step ups it's absolutely nothing, but back in the day it was pretty big. And this is me and my Zaskar again. I did used to get ripped up for doing the old frog legs on tabletops. I never kind of managed to keep the knees in, but managed to get over the tabletop, up the step up, and that's all that matters. Even though this is an anodized red frame, GT brought out a frosted red GT Zaskar, and basically after seeing this article on Hands from an MBUK magazine, I decided to sell my ball burnished Zaskar and get a frosted red bike. These are the pictures that I took in the UK. I think again mostly like 99, something like that. I can't really remember, maybe 2000, roughly around about that time. Yeah, got the Royal Racing sticker on there. I wanted it to be quite a burly build like my other Zaskar, so pretty much everything on here apart from general gears at the time was kind of downhill usage. Downhill pedals, kind of downhill cranks, downhill rims, had the Hope hubs. Later on I actually put disc brakes on this, but at the time had the XTRVs on there and the Silo XCs, which are not downhill but are still pretty good. Got the Azonic riser bars on there, so it was a little bit more aimed towards the gravity fed jump bike type setup, but also, as you can see here, I've actually got the Qatari lights, and I used to do a lot of night rides back in Glossop back in the day. Here I am at Dinting Jumps. Again, mostly in today's standard, this is nothing, but at the time this was a pretty decent sized jump. And I wasn't the most confident in jumping. I think the next shot I'm trying a 1-footer. We used to go to Sheffield BMX track quite a lot, and this is where the clip from Chain Spotting was filmed with Will Longdon and Tom Edwards. So we used to go there quite a lot, and that was pretty good fun jumping on the Zaskar. On the cross-country side of things, I used to go around our local reservoirs, Torside, Bottoms Reservoir. On the Zaskar, obviously JMC's Memorial is not too far from here, so we used to cycle up to that quite a lot. Yeah, this is a couple of pictures from that ride, and I was out with my mate Rob, who was on his DMR Trailstar. So in 2009 I decided to emigrate over to Australia. I have been here for 16 years, or just over, at the time of this recording of the video, so I've been here a very long time. And I actually flew out just with my backpack and a couple of things, and I was waiting for a shipment to come over from the UK by sea freight. I had my Intense Uzi VPX, which I did a history video on not too long ago, and I had my Zaskar, and my first home was in a suburb called Cronulla. So when I got my bike, it was pretty wild for me to essentially ride my bike, which I had had for years and years and years, in another country where I'm now living. It was actually really surreal, even though it's just riding a bike. But I never thought that my tyres would ever touch, different types of terrain and see different things and experience new things in another country ever. Because I wasn't doing the Europe kind of downhill scene like some of my friends, where I always stayed in the UK for biking. So I was super stoked when I actually got my Zaskar frame and my Intense frame. Now, unfortunately, Cronulla is a pure surf town and there's no biking, so it actually took me about 9 or 10 months to actually find places to ride. And when I did, then I actually opened my mountain bike network. And back in 2009, my friend Rob was doing a round the world trip, and he's the manual master, and basically he would borrow my bike and kind of have a little scoot around Cronulla while he was staying with me for a few weeks. And I had my Intense Uzi, so it was really good to catch up with Rob, and he was putting his Zaskar to good use. This photo is down the south coast in a place called Bendalong, and I did have a helmet with me, just not for this picture, but just again riding through the bush, seeing snakes, kangaroos on fire roads in 42-degree heat on my Zaskar. Could never imagine it living in Glossop. So this is a suburb called Menai, which is most probably about 30 minutes away from Cronulla, just south of Sydney here. And this is a video I did back in 2009 with a GoPro 1, as you can see from the quality. And basically I found some tracks and made this little video on my other YouTube channel, like my personal one, not my retro bikes one. And I had some music over it. You can actually still watch that on the YouTube. The actual music hasn't been censored. I think I've got like Rise Against playing over it, but obviously these days copyright, you can't have music kind of playing over the stuff really. But enjoy the music that's over this, or whatever I'm going to choose throughout this this video. And yes, I am wearing white short socks there. That was a big fashion mistake. But at least you can see some of the trails that the Zaskar has experienced. And again, it's a far cry from the wet, damp, cold northern trails around Glossop and the Peak District. So again, it's totally surreal for me to put the bike to good use in its new surroundings. I moved down the south coast for quite a few years after I lived in Cronulla, and this is a picture of me on the Seacliff Bridge. And really good rides, doing the coastal rides on the Zaskar, again putting it to good use in cross-country mode. One of my favourite rides in Sydney was around Sydney Park and around the inner west where I used to live. As you can see here, I've still got the RockShox silos on there, and that was the last time I actually rode it with the silos, because as you'll see in the next clip, a pair of Z1 bombers came up. Now they were actually in fairly bad condition. There was a lot of pitting, to them, and the internals were all pretty knackered. So I did a mini restoration, stripped all the paint off them and took them to a professional spray painters in Sydney, and then got brand new internals by the guys at Suspension Centre in Stanmore. And this was the finished product. So yeah, I was super stoked with having these bombers on here, and as you can see, I had my orange animal watch, which I did a video on not too long ago. So the silos came off and the Z1s came on. So this is one of them surreal moments where, again, the bike was from Glossop, riding in the mud, in the slop, and then, you know, coming to Australia, seeing the Opera House, seeing the Harbour Bridge, riding around Sydney, and this is going over the Harbour Bridge. You know, for me, yeah, it still never got old, and it was just so good to actually be able to do it on the GT Zaskar and bring some UK history over to Australia. So this is at the north side of the Harbour Bridge, and if anyone knows this staircase, it is super steep, and yeah, ideally you need an e-bike to get up that middle bit. But again, did the first section, and yeah, again, it's just surreal to have my UK bike over here in Australia. And this is a beautiful picture which you know, showed the perfect weather throughout the day, and here we are at Darling Harbour as well, and again, it's just unbelievable. Yeah, I'm super lucky. This is where I did another couple of little upgrades on the bike. I put an SDG saddle on there. Now the colour didn't match, but it was better than the Specialized test saddle, and also put a black Azonic shorty stem on, and yeah, here's me at Barden Ridge pump track doing a few laps, and yeah, ripping it up with the saddle at a sensible height for pump track. And I'm also wearing the original dirt cap, keeping it retro. Okay, so I decided to start submitting quite a few photos to Vital MTB back in the day, and yeah, I think from memory I've got about 12 to date, maybe more, and I decided to do, I won't say professional photos, but do some nice photos of the bike. I put some new grips on there, and give it a right good old polish, and yeah, just took some detailed photos, nothing crazy. Obviously the colour of the water does kind of accentuate a lot of things on the bike. I managed to buy a Chris King headset and some XTR skewers, and also a rear carbon brake booster. And yeah, I just decided to do the photos, and then surprise I got another Vital MTB bike of the day, so super stoked on it, and yeah, it's another proud moment for Sydney Retro MTB. This was a little bit of a sad moment for me. At the time of taking these photos, which are actually my marketplace photos, I was getting heavily involved into the Jason McCroy tribute builds, and bottom line is I just needed some cash to, you know, spend on the parts and restorations, and I decided to sell the GT Zaskar. I put the silos back on, the original kind of handlebars that I had and stem with it, swapped out some of the XTR levers and put the XTs back on. Still a really good rig, everything else is pretty much original, and no matter what I'd done in the past and over the years, it was still in amazing condition and no cracks or anything like that. But I had to kind of clear the stable out and also get some funds together. So this is the advert that pictures that I put in the advert, the marketplace, and on the Australian Retro page. And a cool chap called Tyson up in Queensland had always wanted a Zaskar, and we came to an agreement on the price and the postage, and I got it shipped up to Queensland, and it is now in Tyson's stable, and he's made a few modifications to it since he's bought it off me. So this is Tyson's setup, his first iteration. So he put a gold Chris King headset on there, Azonic bars, Azonic stem, new grips, race face seat post, XTR cranks and rear mech. He took the D521 rims off there and put 517s on XTR hubs, and it's a lovely build. Obviously a lot more upgraded parts than what I had. And then he has actually done an extra modification. So he's flipped out the silos, and he's also got the same Z1 bombers that I had, and he has put an Azonic bar on there with the matching stem, XTR shifters and levers, and the V brakes. So it's a full XTR rig, amazing build, and this is how it is today. So Tyson's carried on the good work and he's keeping the memory alive, and I said if he ever sells it that he could sell it back to me because I'll snap it up. So I think I've got first dibs on it. But thank you very much if you stuck around this long, and please don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on the notifications. Don't forget to join me on Instagram, TikTok, and everything else. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks a lot. Bye.